In a landmark ruling, Israel's Supreme Court has ordered the military to begin drafting ultra-Orthodox men who have long been exempt from service. This decision comes amid growing public opposition to the exemption, especially following the Hamas-led attack on Israel last year and the prolonged conflict in Gaza. The unanimous decision by the Supreme Court highlights the increasing strain on Israel's military resources. For years, the court has maintained that the religious exemption violated laws on equal protection. In its latest ruling, the court stated that the state was engaging in invalid selective enforcement, which it deemed a serious violation of the rule of law. Additionally, the court upheld a freeze on subsidies for religious seminaries, or yeshivas, whose students declined to enlist, a measure first imposed in March. Before this ruling, the Israeli government had repeatedly extended the waiver for ultra-Orthodox men, but failed to pass a law that would make it permanent or allow for a more limited draft. During recent court arguments, government lawyers warned that forcing ultra-Orthodox men to enlist could tear Israeli society apart. With conscription now set to start, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu faces the prospect of losing support within his already fragile coalition, which includes two politically powerful ultra-Orthodox parties staunchly opposed to drafting their constituents. The ultra-Orthodox exemption has been a cornerstone of Netanyahu's political strategy. Yonahan Plesner, president of the Israel Democracy Institute, noted, "There are huge implications on Israeli democracy in multiple dimensions. If the ultra-Orthodox parties leave the coalition, Netanyahu's government could collapse, potentially triggering new elections. This political instability comes at a time when Israel is already dealing with multiple fronts of conflict, including a military campaign in Gaza, battles in the West Bank, and mutual attacks along its northern border with Hezbollah." The exemption dates back to Israel's founding in 1948, when protecting the remnant of religious scholars was considered crucial for a Jewish state. Initially, it applied to about 400 people from Orthodox or Haredi families. However, Haredi families have high birth rates, making them the fastest-growing segment of Israel's population. They now constitute about a quarter of enlistment-age men. This demographic shift has made the exemption increasingly unsustainable, both economically and socially. Public opposition to the exemption has intensified, especially since the Hamas attack on October 7th, which killed 1,200 people in Israel. The Israeli military has called up hundreds of thousands of reservists and pushed for longer rotations to support its operations. Ron Scherf, co-founder of Brothers and Sisters in Arms, said, "The people that are serving will now have to do twice or 3 times more. That's crazy. It will not happen." Polls show overwhelming support for ending the broad ultra-Orthodox exemption, with upwards of 70% of Jewish respondents in Israel favoring changes. A couple of thousand ultra-Orthodox individuals did voluntarily sign up for military service after the Hamas attack. Mordecai Porat, a 36-year-old social worker, is one such individual. "I felt like a lion in a cage. I had to do something," he said. However, he faces social stigma, even hiding his military dog tag under his shirt. Nachumi Yafi of Tel Aviv University, who is ultra-Orthodox herself, believes that integrating ultra-Orthodox men into the military will be challenging. "Going to the army will damage their ability to marry," she said. Yafi suggests a phased approach, starting with non-combat roles, to help them adapt to a secular world. Porat thinks most Haredim will choose jail time over enlisting, but believes that more will be open to the idea over time, especially after the Hamas attacks. However, he cautions that a slow approach is best. If people are forced into it, he says, they'll just push back.